We're returning now to our top story in the naming of a special counsel to determine whether classified records were improperly stored at Joe Biden's home and former Washington office. To discuss, I'm joined now in studio by our International Affairs editor, Angela Diffley. So, firstly, Angela, good to have you with us in studio this morning. The appointment of this special counsel, just tell us what exactly this means.
It's important because the special counsel is more independent, has a semi-independent role, whereas the Department of Justice ultimately is answerable to Joe Biden, the president. So the Attorney General, when he announced this, said that the reason he was appointing a special counsel was because this involves a sitting president, and therefore there must be a level of independence. This is the man who has been chosen by the Attorney General, former Trump-appointed US attorney in Maryland. He's called Robert Hur. Now, a special counsel can decide at the end of an investigation to propose a criminal charges. That is not always the case, though, with a sitting president, precisely because they have immunity from criminal prosecution while they're in office. And that's what happened when Donald Trump he has already been investigated by a special counsel in connection with the 2016 campaign and possible coordination with Russia. At the end of that investigation, the special counsel there, Robert Mueller, chose not to make a decision on criminal prosecution or not because he said it was a sitting president. Of course, Trump is also currently being investigated by a special counsel as well in connection with the documents found in his Mar-a-Lago estate, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of comparisons. We're reading about how certain commentators are saying the two cases are similar, but legal experts say no, they're markedly different. So how do the cases compare?
Well, the most obvious comparison is in the fact that the National Archives asked again and again Donald Trump, would you please return? We're worried that you have documents. Could you please return any documents you have? He denied that he possessed any and then obstructed their return to the National Archives. Whereas the White House says Biden's lawyers, once the documents were found, there were two sets of documents found in Biden's possession, one lot at a think tank, another lot just yesterday, it emerged, were found in his Wilmington, Delaware garage and in his library in his house there. Biden's lawyers, the White House tells us, immediately informed the National Archives and the documents were immediately turned over. So the White House is saying we are cooperating with the National Archives. Trump obstructed, denied obstructed, resisted. The other difference is in terms of scale. The Trump documents, over 300 documents were found on his Mar-a-Lago estate after an FBI raid. These Biden documents concern about 10 files. We know that some of the Mar-a-Lago documents found in Donald Trump's possession were marked top secret. It's unclear what is the nature of the classification of the Biden documents. And Biden himself apparently doesn't know because he was advised by his lawyers not to inquire. So we're not even sure if he knows. So the main differences are the fact that Trump undeniably obstructed the return of his documents and also that there were many more of them.
Bearing all of that in mind then, how much of a problem is this for Joe Biden?
Well, it certainly takes the shine off his presidency, which, following the midterms, where he was much more successful than people had expected to be, then he was bathing in a sort of afterglow. He is expected shortly to announce his candidacy for 2024, and so the timing of this is not great. Republicans are very keen to make clear that for them there must be no question of double standards. Don't forget Joe Biden, when the documents were found in Mar-a-Lago in Trump's possession, said it was utterly irresponsible. And so the Republicans will be very keen to make clear that there are no double standards here. It's also, what will really matter in this investigation is why did these documents, when they were unearthed, a couple of days before the midterms. Why wasn't it revealed there? Was there any attempt at concealment? If there was, then Biden is in a bit more trouble than if he can get away with saying, look, I didn't know this. We made a mistake. We corrected it as soon as we did. So this will be a political as well as a legal issue over the coming weeks.
And still a lot of questions, it seems, then, for the Biden administration. Angela, thanks so much for joining us. That's our International Affairs editor here at France 24, Angela Diffley.